Hey, in this video, we'll be looking at how you can plan your tax return, plan before year end using Taxed. And we've got just under a month before the tax year ends, but if you're self-employed or a landlord, you likely already know how much rental income, self-employment income you're going to have by the time we get to the end of April. You may also be employed, so you may have your March pay slips or your end of year statement, so you'll know exactly how much you've earned in the last 12 months. And now's the best time to plan, because anything that you do before the 6th of April will be applicable in this current tax return, so it will actually help to reduce your tax bill. It's a great chance and a great time to look for investments, look at pension schemes, look at various things that you could be doing to maximize your tax efficiency. Now, a common thing that we always get asked when it comes to tax filing is, how can I reduce that? And unfortunately, it's normally too late. So now is the best time. Well, to start with, just click on your, just log in to Taxed, and then you can click on the personal tax section on Taxed. Once you click on personal tax, you'll see 2526, and you can start questionnaire at the top left. Once you started, you will see a bit of a pop-up. It will ask you, would you like to pull data from other sources? Click yes to this if you've already filed with us. If not, you can just continue with the main questionnaire. But let's say that I'm going to pull data from a previous tax submission. I can see 2425, then I can see what I want to pull. So I can take my details from my self-employment, take some rental details. Let's say that I've sold a property. I don't need to take that. So I'm just going to take in one of my self-employments, one of the properties, and my personal info. When I hit continue, I can then see some other details that we will be trying to take into Taxed. For example, some payments on account that we know have already been completed, and the tax fee that was paid last year. This will automatically be added on to this tax return. So let's hit import, and then let's see what we get. So you can see now on the left hand side, some of the details have been pre-populated. For example, the self-employment is complete, but it's super important that we actually check over some of these numbers. It may have changed. Things can always update. So let's then jump into self-employment. You can see here we've got our the amount of income that we earned. This is pulled from last year's tax return. So all we need to do now is we need to update this with our most recent figures. So let's say our income has slightly dropped. I can update that there. Then what I can also do is look at some of the expenses. So some of these elements you may have already seen before, around using a phone for work, etc., working from home. Now, what I'm just going to show you here to start with is, let's take a look at some investments that we can make in terms of our self-employment business. So if I'm coming up to the end of the year and I'm thinking, hey, I've always wanted to buy that new laptop, but it's now a good time. This is where potentially it could be worth looking at the tax impact of that new laptop. So let's say that we will look to purchase a MacBook, £1,500. I hit next. I can then see the impact that that has for my tax position. The reason why that's important is because if we wait till next year, we're incurring the £1,500 cost, but we're paying tax on more profits in this current year. So it's always worth looking at the potential tax impact, even when you're making investments such as a new laptop. It could even be also applying for new software. When you look to purchase software, there's always two options. One will be a monthly cost, often a little bit more expensive, or a one-off cost. The one-off cost, obviously from a cash flow perspective, you take a bit of a hit, but you may save on your taxes. You may also save on the overall price by buying it in one go rather than waiting. A good example of that actually is if you are to use Taxed before the 6th of April, there is a prepayment offer. It's only £69 instead of the usual £99 fee. Anyway, so that's a good example of how you can use Taxed to look at your self-employment expenses. Obviously, there's a lot more that can be done there, but let's then just jump into rental. In a very similar vein, it's a great chance to look at some of the information in terms of your property. So let's jump into our property here, and we can see, right, the rental income has been exactly the same this year, but we know that we need to change some of the expenses. So let's adjust these expenses here. Let's say that we've got some mortgage interest. And then also in a similar vein to our self-employment, we're thinking, should we purchase or renew our landlord insurance now? Is there anything that we could be doing in terms of repairs for the property? By making those repairs now, it will come under this tax return, so we see the tax benefit straight away. Is it worth incurring that now, or is it worth waiting to April? And those are some of the questions that we recommend asking yourself as you head towards the 6th of April, as it does make a big impact. So let's say that we've got £1,000 worth of repairs. That £1,000 worth of repairs will instantly reduce our profits for the rental property and therefore reduce our tax bill too. Final bit I'd like to show you, and I know I've been speeding through this, is just around the pension contributions. So if you are self-employed, super important to be also contributing to your pension. Make sure that you're utilizing the SIPP option here. That is a self-invested personal pension. You'll be able to make contributions to your pension scheme here. So you can see on screen that we've got a pension contribution of £5,000. Once we add this in, you can see that it further helps to reduce our tax bill or increase our refund. There are various thresholds of where that will be more applicable or have more tax efficient impact. And that's super important for you to be looking at if you're self-employed or a landlord. There's also other options there like venture capital schemes. And I know I've skimmed through this, but I wanted to make it a quick video. If you do have any questions, we're hosting a webinar all about tax planning. So feel free to join. You can ask your questions there and we'll be going through some of these examples and exactly how the tax technical works behind the scenes. And separately, if you would like a one-on-one consultation with our experts to go through your tax planning, we're always here to help. So just reach out and we can set up a call to go through it with you. Thank you.